Hello and welcome. I'm Gant Carter here with GTD Firearms, bringing you another video with a couple of pieces of advice. You don't have to be very involved in the shooting world right now to realize that things are, for lack of better terms, kind of crazy. Some of that's good, some of that's bad. Some of the good is that we have a lot of new shooters. We have a lot of people that are getting more serious about training. People are becoming more interested in training courses. People are becoming more serious about gun ownership, regardless of whether they just bought their first gun or they've had guns for quite some time. But on the other side of things, prices and availability are not what we've come to expect. Over the past few months, especially the last couple of months, ammunition is becoming difficult to find, especially in local stores. There are a lot of empty shelves. I've seen some places where there are no shelves, in that they've simply quit having a section for certain calibers, especially handgun ammunition. And then even online, maybe where you can find it, prices have really gone up. Now, there's plenty of information out there as to the various contributing factors, as to the why and the therefores, as to this happening. That's not this video. This video is about some suggestions for you if you're concerned about the future. Maybe you're someone that has a nice stockpile of ammunition, however many rounds that is for you, but you're thinking and concerned about how long even that's going to last you if you keep shooting and practicing and taking classes, maybe shooting competitions if you're in that part of the community over the next few months, let's say the rest of this year. Or maybe you're someone that for whatever reason, regardless of how new you are to the shooting community, you don't have very much ammunition. And you're wondering, should I stop shooting and focus on as much as my budget and I can find it allows? Just focus on saving up and stockpiling ammunition so then I have my stockpile and then I'm prepared. Here are 3 suggestions. If you're concerned, here's 3 pieces of advice or 3 areas of thinking about that. Suggestion number 1, keep shooting. It is easy in times like this to go to extremes. The one extreme might be to not shoot at all, not practice, not train, just keep as much as possible saving and preserving ammunition. The other extreme might be to not even consider any kind of changes or anything within reason. Just keep shooting and just trust that you'll be able to find ammunition and buy it. We can easily find some kind of balance. Let's say you decide not to shoot anymore at all. Remember that shooting, especially with a handgun, is a perishable skill. Really, it's a very perishable skill. This is just hypothetical, so ignore the numbers, ignore if you think it's something that is crazy, just think with me. Let's say you've got 1,000 rounds. That's your stockpile. And you think, I need to be prepared for home invasion, riots, apocalyptic economic failure, whatever it is that you're preparing for, I need to have this ammunition saved back. Or maybe you're just a recreational shooter and you think, I don't want to get to the point where I can't shoot anymore. And so you decide, in the meantime, I'm not going to shoot. What happens to your skill? Especially if you're thinking from a defensive, protective standpoint, the one extreme, and I don't know where your skills are, but let's just say the one extreme would be that you've got 1,000 rounds, but you can't hit anything with those 1,000 rounds. 1,000 misses are still misses. Again, I'm not trying to insult you or say that if you don't shoot for 6 months, you can't hit anything. It's just an example. To relate the concept of not going to the one extreme of just saying, I'm not going to shoot, I'm not going to practice anymore at all. But maybe you focus more on low round count drills. This would be a great time to do what's often called the ball and dummy drill. Have someone else load a portion of your magazines with dummy rounds and then work on malfunctions. Maybe if you have some sympathetic flinch issues to be worked out, great time to work on that because you're having less ammunition in your magazines, simply put. Work on low round count drills. There are a number of those available. I recently did a video on the way to do a low round count reload drill, the 1-shot reload, 1-shot drill. There are a number of ways to go about this in a way that is balanced and accommodating for these times. You can dial back some of the numbers on your practice sessions and things of that nature, and yet still get in your practice and maintain your skills and have fun at the same time without having to completely start blowing through all of your ammo. There's a way to preserve the skills and your ammunition as well, and then keep your eyes open in the meantime, watch prices, watch availability, here and there as need be, purchase ammunition. Thankfully, a lot of trainers and schools are accommodating this issue. Here at GTD, for instance, we have some classes coming up, and some of them have some relatively high round counts for the course that you shoot during the course of a day. We're accommodating that. If you come to us and you want to take a class and get your training done, but maybe you don't have the ammunition or you don't want to shoot as much as the course standard typically requires, we'll work with you. We will accommodate and do what we can to make sure that you're still able to train, but not have to fire quite as much ammunition in the process. We'll even do what we can to help you locate and get ammunition so that you can come and take a training course. Piece of advice number 2, along the same lines, so this would be a great time to start dry fire. If you are not doing that, or at least not doing so consistently, dry fire is where you practice various mechanics, whether it's something as simple as grip and trigger and sights, or it's working those reloads, or whatever it is. It's where you do so without live ammunition. Maybe you use dummy rounds, and there's some benefits to that. Maybe you just use an empty gun if your gun is capable of doing that. But you begin to work on your skills, and you can do so in the private of your home. It doesn't cost any ammunition. It doesn't cost any money, even to travel to a range and back or anything like that. But if you haven't done that, you're not doing that, this is a great time to get into that. Maybe if you've done some dry fire, you're doing dry fire, keep it up. Maybe even increase that to help those skills not decrease as much, because you can do a whole lot of increasing and maintaining skills via dry fire. There are tons of resources out there, books, videos, all of that to help you with dry fire, as well as practice live ammunition practice sessions. Advice number 3. This is also a great time to work on empty hand skills, hand-to-hand fighting skills. And like dry fire, this is especially true if this is something that you haven't really been involved in much, if at all, over the past few years. Yes, a gun is a great tool, and we need to know how to run the gun, and it is invaluable in a fight for our lives or for the lives of our loved ones. But let's not underappreciate or undermine the importance of being able to handle ourselves in a fight, in a confrontation, with either just our hands or other objects that we might be able to employ in a fight beyond a ballistic weapon, beyond a firearm. Now, there are plenty of people out there that will be glad to debate with you whether you should focus on groundwork or striking / stand-up, or however that is. Both are important, and I'll let them debate with you on the details of that. But things like that, your empty hand skills, maybe even medical training, other things related, really working on knowing tactics and situational awareness and other things that are peripheral in some ways to running a gun for protective purposes would be great at this time to get into and be involved in. There are plenty of courses that don't require any ammunition that allow you to get some kind of training done. You might even try out some force-on-force classes. Those are great regardless of the times, but especially right now, it'd be a great time to try out some of those. So, keep shooting, keep practicing, keep training. Work in dry fire. It's an invaluable tool regardless of time, but especially when ammunition is difficult or expensive. Work on dry fire. And then thirdly, expand your skill set. There's no better time than now. Maybe it's an extra great time even to expand and include or work on and focus on more other related skills. If we can help you in any way with your firearms needs and related needs here at GTD Firearms, please let us know. We're training for the fight we hope never